Hi, I'm Mike, a technical product marketing manager at Forward Networks. In today's video, we will expand more on navigating the NQE library by looking at the Files tab, specifically how to create a new query, how to create a folder, explain the NQE permissions, and how to import and export NQE queries. In a previous video, navigating the NQE library, which is linked below, we discussed the basics and went over the layout of the NQE library. This video will touch on some of the items that is good to know about the NQE Files tab. First things first, how do I create a new NQE query? There's a few ways that we can do this. First is in the toolbar. We can click Create New Query. Second is in the main page. At the bottom, there's a Create New Query button. Finally, if you wanted to create a query in a specific folder, you can highlight that folder, click the kebab button, and do Create Query. So let's do that, and let's give it a name. We're going to call it Mike's Query, and we're going to hit Save. Now that we know how to create a query, how do we create folders in case we wanted to organize them a specific way? Folders can be created in a multiple of different ways. First, in the toolbar again, we can do Create New Directory, or if you wanted to nest a directory inside of another directory, you can highlight that directory, click the kebab, and do Create Directory. So now that we have a blank NQE query, let's create a sample one to return the CDP neighbors for a specific device. So we're going to paste that in, execute it, and we're going to come back to the results pane in a second. The thing I want to focus on is the changes column. So an NQE query can have different change states associated with it. Depending on the change state, the only person who can see that is the person who is currently in the query, either adding it, changing it, modifying it, or deleting it. So if we look at the different changes that we can have, added means that it's a new query added by the current user that has not yet been committed. Modified means the current user has modified the change, has modified the NQE query. Moved means the current user has moved the NQE query from its original location to a new location. And then deleted means the current user has deleted the query. With all four of the state changes that I had just outlined, no other user can see it except for the person currently in NQE who's making the changes. To push those changes out so everybody can see them, we need to commit them. To commit a change, we click on what we want to commit. So I'm going to commit this deleted one, and then I'm going to commit the added Mike's query, and then we click the commit button. It's going to bring you a screen to show you exactly what it is that's being committed. So we have a delete, so an NQE query is being deleted, and then we're also adding an NQE query. So when we click commit, users will no longer be able to see the one that was deleted, and then any change that I had made to Mike's query is now going to be visible to other users of NQE. So now NQE also allows you to set permissions at the directory level to limit who can edit the queries inside of those directories. To do this, we highlight the directory, we click the kebab, then we click on Edit Directory. Under Access Settings is where you can change the permissions for that. So by default, it's inherit from parent directory. Another way you can do it is only admins and network operators can access and change queries below in the file structure. The third way is you can have a custom access setting. So you can write out specific group names that's relevant to your organization, and then have those groups be able to edit specific queries in specific folders. So if Mike Sandbox was a folder specific for a certain set of users, we'll say in this specific access group, we can select that, add it, and then when I save it, only this group will have write access to anything in Mike's Sandbox and below. That includes any other folders that are created below Mike's Sandbox. We also have the ability to import and export queries. To export queries, you can either go to the folder or to the query itself and click on Export. You can highlight the queries that you want to export and click the Export Query, and it'll take those queries and export them out into a zip file. The converse to that is importing. So when you import a query, you click on import and then you drag the zip file into the import NQE query. It will import it into the current folder that you're in. So if you don't want the queries to be in that folder, you can move the queries around, or you can just change your import by going to a different folder and then clicking import again. Why you may want to export some NQE queries is you may want to share between maybe different instances of Forward Enterprise, or you can take those queries and share them on our community at community.forwardnetworks.com. Going back to the results pane, let's re-execute this query, and we can take the results of the query and save it into either an Excel file or into a CSV file. To do that, we click the kebab, and then we can download either a XLS report or a CSV report, however you want to choose to consume it, and then that is readily available for you guys to access once it's downloaded. That was an overview of the NQE file structure and how to download query results without having to take screenshots of every page in the results pane. If there are any questions, head on over to community.forwardnetworks.com and be sure to share those NQE queries with us. Thank you for watching and have a great day.